Just let me know when.
You're good.
Okay, hi, Tanya Gratz with the Greene County Land and Water Conservation Department. And with me I have,
Tony Strands.
and today I want to show you a demonstration showing soil aggregate stability, essentially. So in here we have just plain flour. And so I have a cup with holes in it. That's going to be my rain cloud. And I'm going to have it rain on my soil. So this flour is representing just soil to the sand, silt, and clay that there's. So Tony, can you tell me what you see happening?
I see that the water is running off of what is representing the soil, and there's not a lot of infiltration, and it's starting to cause rills and gullies.
Is the water that's running off clean or not?
No, it is not clean. It is milky with the flour.
Sure. So same could be taken with soil that.
If it was soil, it would be brown in nature.
Right. Yep. So we're not getting much infiltration. We have water running off our soil. Maybe some splashing action if we're hitting new soil or new flower areas that it's kind of splashing a little bit.
Would it be safe to say, Tanya, that this has been tilled soil?
Yes, I would say this would be a good representation of tilled soil. So what's the difference between, or how do you get bread from flour?
Bread is the combination of flour and water that is kneaded together, and it's infiltrated. The water is allowed to infiltrate into the flour.
What else do you need? There's 3 ingredients, do you know?
Mixture?
Yeast.
Yeast.
So yeast, do you know what yeast is?
It's a rising agent.
Right, it's actually a fungi.
Yep.
So it's biology.
Mhm.
And so in order to
Like
get,
microbes.
yep, in order to get from flour to bread, we have to have biology. And so the same is true with healthy soil, is that we need to have the biology doing the work of taking these aggregate or these pieces of soil and making pore space.
Yep.
So in bread, we have air holes. It's not all solid.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that biology is, all living things actually have it, that any living thing is exuding snot, slime, glues, sticky substances that are helping create these pores. Glomalin is definitely one thing, it's that. So even we exude things,
Yep.
snot, other areas. So healthy soil has life in it,
Mm-hmm.
and that life is helping aggregate and make that pore space that this does not have, or this does. And so it's kind of a soil carbon sponge.
Would it be safe to say that healthy soil is achieved through management practices?
It could be, yep. So now I want to show you what happens if it rains on our healthy soil.
It's infiltrating and not running off.
There's not much splashing if I'm
No.
getting onto new areas. I mean, it's still. So if this were soil, would the water be reaching the roots?
I think it would be safe to assume that the water would be getting down to the root zone. At least it would be available for the plant's roots.
Right.
Because it's not sitting on the surface.
Is it running off?
Not that I can see.
Okay. So if the bread had contaminants on the top and the flour had contaminants, which one would be more likely to be able to filter out the contaminants?
The bread. And as I can see that the water that's now come through the bottom layer of bread is clear and does not have any of the milky appearance as it came off the flour.
Right. So it's regular white bread.
Yep.
Has flour in it. That's not coming off.
Yep.
So if you lived in a place where it rained a lot every year, which would you rather have?
I would prefer to have the water hit the bread first than just hit the raw flour.
Right. Especially if there was a lot of flooding, you'd have a little more chance of not having it flood so much.
Yes.
So let's say you lived in an area where it only rained a few inches a year and you were trying to grow food. What kind of land would you rather be farming on?
The bread still.
Let's say you had a well. Which one is going to help the groundwater recharge faster?
The bread.
Okay. If you were trying to build a road, which one, or you lived in a place prone to earthquakes, which one do you think would be more stable?
The bread.
So this is just to show that healthy soil is alive and it's going to do a lot better for us than what the non-healthy soil is going to do. That's
How could you take healthy soil and turn it into not healthy soil?
well, the management practices that we believe in are no-till, of doing the least amount of disturbance as possible, having a living root to help feed those microbes that are in the soil, have diversity in your rotation so that different microbes are attracted to different kinds of roots, and keeping it covered, whether that is with dead plant material or the living cover crops, if you have cover crops in that. And so those are the 4 main soil health principles. There is a 5th one that they say to integrate livestock, and so the fresh animal manure really gets the soil biology going.
So the easiest way to make soil look like the flour on this hand is through constant aggressive tillage.
Yep. That will destroy all of your soil structure. So if we pummeled this bread, it wouldn't behave like it is now.
And now I see it starting to crust on top of. So if it crusts like that, would that be easy for new shoots to get up through? Or would that compaction of the crusting kind of keep the germination cycle?
It would prevent germination because there needs to be an air-gas exchange happening.
So the new sprouts can't get up through it and no oxygen or any gases can get down to it.
Exactly. And no more water is going to infiltrate either because it is sealed off.
So aggressive tillage can increase crusting, which is also bad for the yields.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.